What's going on, Alabama fans? Chris Daughtry back with you guys here on the Alabama Football Report by Chat Sports. I hope everybody had a very good Christmas and a happy holiday season. I know I had a very, very good time over the past couple days. Coming up on today's show, we are going to be recapping what has happened over the past couple days. I've been out of the office here. There hasn't necessarily been a ton of, big news that has come out, but there has been a couple notable things that I wanted to touch on here on today's show. Before we get into that, though, I want to hear from you guys down inside the comments section. What was your favorite gift for Christmas? It could be something that you gave somebody else, or it could be something that you got yourself. Let me know down in the comments your favorite gift for Christmas. All right, first thing I want to touch on here today, LT Overton. The other day, we posted this on the community side here on our YouTube page. Posted this on his Instagram saying, "Back like I never left." That was very notable. There were some rumblings about maybe LT Overton was going to be able to, return for the Rose Bowl here, but, he's been out the past couple of games for Alabama. He was out for the SEC championship game, and he was also out for that game in the first round of the college football playoffs versus Oklahoma. Not too long after LT Overton posted that, Matt Zenitz of CBS Sports ended up tweeting this out, basically saying, LT Overton is set to play against Indiana in the quarterfinals here on January 1st. This is a big time return for Alabama. They've been without LT Overton the past couple of games, and I will say this as well. I have been very impressed by the other guys that have stepped up in the absence of LT Overton. We talked in the offseason when it came to LT Overton about, turning some of those pressures into sacks this year, and I think he's done a little bit better job of that. I think, he's played in one less game as of right now, doesn't have as many tackles, but he has more TFLs, has more sacks, doesn't have as many pressures, but I will say I think he is being more efficient this season and getting to the quarterback and just doing some good things overall because, this year it's not, just him. Some other guys have stepped up as well. You've seen Yanze Pierre step up with the absence of Quay Russaw being out there. I think, London Simmons has played some massive snaps this year for Alabama as well. When you single out the Bandits, though, there's one thing that I want to bring up here. When you look at the snap counts, Jordan Renaud has really been the number 2 guy playing Bandit for Alabama this season. And, Kelby Collins and, Keon Keeley have both stepped up in massive, massive moments this season. It seems like every single time, Keon Keeley gets in the game, he makes a big-time play. I think Kelby Collins has done a really, really good job getting him out of the transfer portal this year as well. But I would like to see Keon Keeley and Kelby Collins get more snaps than Jordan Renaud. It's not to say I don't necessarily like Jordan Renaud, but I think with the opportunities that those two guys have gotten, I think they've been taking more advantage of it than a guy like Jordan Renaud has. So if you guys are glad that LT Overton is going to be back here for Alabama against Indiana, get down inside the comment section and spam your 22s down at the pinned comment of today's video. All right, I also wanted to touch on some more transfer portal rumors here. We talked about Devin Tompkins the other day, is expected to hit the transfer portal out of USC. Now, he did announce it back on December 17th, and we threw it on our video as just kind of a guy to watch because Pete Nakos of Rivals /On3, whatever you want to call them these days. He said Alabama was going to be a team to monitor when it came to Devin Tompkins. Well, Tim Watts of Bama Online reported the other day that Alabama is, quote, the team to beat right now for Devin Tompkins. Now, he's not officially yet in the transfer portal. Doesn't open up until January 2nd here. But, once he does officially enter the transfer portal, it seems like Alabama is already in a pretty good spot. And I do think we also have to note that, yes, the transfer portal is not open yet, but look, tampering really isn't a thing in college football right now. If they're not going to enforce the rules, then it doesn't really matter. There was another question that we were wondering here about Devin Tompkins a couple days ago was how much eligibility is he actually going to have left? I think he played in 3 total games in the first 2 years at USC. Past 2 years, he's played in 24 games, but that was a big question. I wasn't sure if he actually had a redshirt year those first 2 years. I guess he hasn't because he's only got, or I guess he did. So that means, he does have that 1 year left of eligibility there. But you see from 2024 to 2025, he did, do some pretty good things as well. And I think, it's going to be interesting to see if he ends up coming to Alabama. It's a big if right now, obviously. But if he were to come to Alabama, would he play that bandit role? Would he play more of the interior role? I think he's listed right now at about 280 pounds on the USC, roster right now. So, I think a guy like LT Overton is at like 275 or something like that. So if he were to play bandit, I think he would have to drop a little bit more weight. But, this guy is very, very athletic. I think he could play inside. He could play outside. I think he would have a lot of versatility in this Kane Wommack defense. Now, just to remind everybody here as well, the new transfer portal windows. It's going to open up on January 2nd, so we're now about a week away or so until the transfer portal officially ends up, opening up here. It'll be the day after Alabama takes on Indiana. So, if they end up winning that game, they're going to have to deal with, getting ready for the semifinals, and they're going to have to be going through transfer portal stuff right now. And I do want to make note as well, only one player for Alabama has actually, expressed that they were going to be entering the transfer portal. That was Bubba Hampton. That happened during the season. So, there's already teams right now, even teams that are already in the college football playoffs, excuse me, they've got some players that have already announced that they're going to be entering. As of right now, the only one is Bubba Hampton for Alabama, and he announced that a long, long time ago. Hasn't been with, the team all season long. So we'll see if, any players for Alabama do actually end up entering the portal. I'm sure there's going to be a couple guys, but, we'll see as it gets closer, about a week away until that transfer portal opens. All right, we'll continue here in just a second. But first, we want to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's show. It's Prize Picks. It's the best time of the it's holiday season right now, best time of the year for sports. You have bowl games, you have basketball matchups, you have playoff pushes, this all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every single day, what to eat, which bowl games to watch, there's one place where it feels good to be right, and that, my friends, is on Prize Picks. I absolutely love that Prize Picks added this new feature. They now offer early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. Prize Picks is super simple to play. You just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get your picks right, you could come out on top. This is what we've got cooked up for some professional football coming up this weekend. Got Miami taking on Tampa Bay. Going to go with Baker Mayfield. More than 17 for his fantasy score there because Prize Picks is daily fantasy sports after all. So we're going to go with Baker Mayfield, more than 17 for his fantasy score there. Former Alabama player Jaylen Waddle, going to go with a more than for him at 56.5 receiving yards. And then Quinn Ewers, now the starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins after they ended up benching Tua there. We're going to go with the more than on him at 201.5 passing yards. Like I said earlier, you guys can join millions of users and sign up today for America's #1 fantasy sports app. Download the Prize Picks app today and use promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That link, by the way, going to be down inside the comment section and the description of today's video. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. All right, let's keep talking about the transfer portal a little bit more here. Jaylen Mbakwe was asked at a charity event the other day, pretty much just straight up, which is pretty ballsy there. But the guy that did it, I would say there, if he was going to be entering the transfer portal again. Now, if you remember, Jaylen Mbakwe last offseason did end up hitting the transfer portal for about 24 hours. It might not have even been a full 24 hours there for Jaylen Mbakwe, but ended up coming back. The coaching staff, had a conversation with them, decided going from that, defensive side of the ball to the offensive side of the ball, he wanted to get more touches. Now, we do know Jaylen Mbakwe is an electric athlete when he does have the ball in his hands, but unfortunately, he just hasn't been able to get on the field a lot for Alabama this season on the offensive side of the ball. A couple weeks ago, we did put him as a guy to monitor on our transfer portal candidates list, but he was straight up asked if he was going to be entering the portal again. He said definitely not. So really do love to hear that there from Jaylen Mbakwe. I will say this as well. It's kind of like, the coaching stuff. He was kind of put on the spot there. What else is he going to say? You know what I mean? But, I'm going to take him at his word. I think Jaylen Mbakwe does love being here at Alabama. And hopefully next season he could get a little bit more playing time here for this wide receiver core. I went ahead and cooked this up. Your possible 2026 wide receiver outlook going into next season. Ryan Williams, sitting right there. He's definitely going to be your number one wide receiver. I still wonder what a guy like Isaiah Horton is going to end up doing. I have seen him in some, second round mock drafts here for this year's NFL draft. But, Alabama building roster-wise, Courtney Morgan did say that they are in the business of retaining guys. So, if Isaiah Horton's only a second-round guy right now, could they, maybe bump his NIL up a little bit more, maybe convince him to come back next season? That would be an incredible 1-2 punch there with Latier Brooks being your wide receiver 3 as well. I think Rico Scott's showed some fun things this year. He's had, some quality playing time. Derek Meadows, obviously, played a little bit at the beginning of the season. Last couple games haven't necessarily played too much there, especially after he ended up, suffering that concussion there. But very excited about the future for Derek Meadows. Sadarian Morgan also coming in this 2026 recruiting class, and, of course, Jaylen Mbakwe. Now, two guys that I did put, a little asterisk down there, possible transfers for Alabama. Cole Adams, Jalen Hale. Don't exactly know the status on those guys. Don't exactly know what they're going to end up doing there. Obviously, Jalen Hale has, voiced some frustration on social media when not necessarily getting a lot of playing time here. I would certainly love to have Jalen Hale stay here at Alabama, but I don't know what's going to happen. Same with Cole Adams as well. He kind of plays more of that slot. You got Latier Brooks, you got, Rico Scott, and I would assume Jaylen Mbakwe is probably going to play a lot in that slot as well. So, Cole Adams, he has been back there as the punt returner for Alabama a lot this season. So, I don't know. I put it as an asterisk down there because you never really know what those guys might end up doing. So, I want to hear from you guys yet again down inside the comment section. Will Jalen Hale stay at Alabama? Get your predictions down in the comments. Type P if you think he's going to hit the transfer portal, or type S if you think he'll stay here at Alabama next season. All right, to round out today's show, I really do love talking about some of the future here for the Crimson Tide. They had 9 players in that 2026 signing class who are already practicing with the team right now, getting ready for that Rose Bowl game versus Indiana. A couple guys on the offensive side of the ball, a couple guys on the defensive side of the ball as well. We'll start off here with the offense. Sadarian Morgan already on campus now. Max Sutter also, coming in as that tight end signee for Alabama. Quarterback Jet Tamala also practicing with the team, and offensive lineman Chris Booker. Going over to the defensive side now, a couple big-time, defensive backs here for Alabama in that 2026 signing class. Jordan Edmonds, the 5-star, Zion Gibson, the very first kid that ended up committing to Alabama's 2026 signing class. He's already on campus as well. A couple more defensive linemen, Corey Howard and Kamarian Johnson, already practicing with the team. And right there in Hillcrest, Tuscaloosa, Zay Hall at that linebacker spot, already practicing with the team as well. All right, make sure you guys are subscribed right here to the Alabama Football Report. We have been trying to track down the Michigan Football Report. The CEO here at Chat Sports, James Yoder, We are only about, well, what's that, like 1,200 or so away, about 1,100 and some change away from being the #1 college football channel here at Chat Sports. So I need some help. I need you guys to hit that sub button. We got free Alabama videos for you guys all year, all season long. We'll also be live for the Rose Bowl, and if Alabama wins that game, we'll be live for every single college football game here on the Alabama Football Report. So hit that sub button for me right now.